So I would call this the continuing Big Bang. This phase of expansion for me just started with um, earlier this year feeling like, oh, I finally found the thing I'm here to do. Presenting this program for doctors. Physician burnout, it's a problem. I've heard about it. I've read about it. I've experienced my own version of it. Maybe I'll offer something given what I know. And I put in a lot of effort putting that together. And as I was sitting with it last week, I had this aha moment where I wrote down on a piece of paper in big letters, doctor, in quotes, is not equal to who you are. So it just kind of flashed into my mind that doctor, which is this thing I've been carrying around my whole life, right? I was told that it's something nobody can ever take away from me. That's why I should get it. And then, as a kind of a fluke accident on the internet, my name.com is not available because it's an Asian porn site. So I had to reserve Dr. LisaChu.com. And I was told to be called Dr. Chu in my violin school, and I accepted that advice. So it's like been following me around, and I accepted it. And this aha moment of doctor is not who I am. It's not who anyone is. Even if you function as a medical doctor in society, it's not who you are. It's not and I've said this before, it's not the totality of who you are. It's a function and a role that you fulfill with the totality of who you are. Now, you may not bring that online. You may not show up with all of who you are in that role. And if that's the case, we're missing out on all of your greatness that you can bring, but that's okay. But I was in the same delusion that these names that we have are real. And I was actually trying to fit some kind of message into that box just because that's what's available. It's that image of being offered a checklist of options and saying, that's it. Choose multiple choice, 1 out of 21. But that's not the way the universe is built. There's actually many more options than we're even aware of at any given time. So after that realization, it sort of opened up to me that, wow, if we really want to change quote unquote healthcare or solve whatever problem we perceive there to be, it's not just fixing something for doctors. It's identifying how the space between people changes when the intention that's within each person shifts, and how that consciousness within each person can shift the entire system instantly with just a new awareness. So I realized that it's really not a program for doctors. So, I spent a few days rolling that one around in my head. Meanwhile, these Palo Alto suicides came into my awareness. So then the whole Chinese bad Asian daughter, cultural achievement, doctor myth thing came back online for me, which I had really wanted to put away and say thank you very much. That's kind of old, but hello. Talk about another false identity we carry around, which is our cultural identity. But it's something we cannot erase from our DNA completely. And we can erase a lot of it in terms of the thought patterns, belief systems, reaction patterns. But they were also there for a reason, and I choose to, and life is choosing to give me the opportunity to befriend it rather than continuously escaping. So then I had this coaching session that really sealed it again for me, which is when we touch and stay, especially with the things that we thought are over and in the past, and I did that already. I did the 12-step program for that. I had therapy on that. Thank you. When we can touch and stay and love and be with all of that in us, something big happens for not only us, but everyone in our world. So that is something I increasingly have courage and confidence and faith in through the work that I'm doing as a coach with this system of conscious language and biooptic holography. And so fast forwarding till today, I mean, there's another story from last night that I was going to make another video about, so I'm not going to mention it. But fast forward today, I followed my heart, and I went to some open windows that I had on my screen from yesterday from John DeLynn and the project called MormonStories.org. It's one of several podcasts and websites that he's built with a team of people that was so refreshing to me in so many ways, because I've been kind of like on the whole online marketing model that's been kind of like in my face everywhere I go. For whatever reason, I was attracting into my space just all the same old about how to create your dream business online. And I just wasn't buying into it, and it wasn't feeling like me. I had no doubt that it works for a lot of people, and that the steps, if you're willing to do them, totally work. And it wasn't feeling delicious. Something about this Mormon Stories just gave me this whole feeling of relief, and I am not able to pinpoint it except for the feeling of this genuine service for a genuine population in need of a space to tell stories. Not in need like, oh, I pity you, you have a problem and I can solve it, and I've done that and I've been there. Not that sort of I'm the expert, follow my lead, here's my program, here's my free download kind of thing, which is so tired. But there's a sincerity of heart there, and all the content was free. Podcasts, audio, video, just all on there, and a little box in the corner for donations. You don't need to sign up for their newsletter list. You have the option of joining their closed Facebook moderated discussion group for people who really are in those issues and want to support each other. And you are free to contact the various people related to the sites who are professionals and offer services. So it was very much a giving, true generosity model, not baiting and trying to gain marketing leverage from a list, which I just find gross. I don't know, I have that in me, and I acknowledge it. It's just there for me to see and not hate it and not try to suppress it down to fit in. It just had this feeling of, wow, first of all, I love conversation. I've identified that. It's why I've kept trying to do free teleclasses and host conversations, and none of my coaching one-on-one conversations are shareable because they're done in the context of a private coaching. But how exciting, and how much would I love to be able to converse with, not necessarily interview, but converse with people consciously about what it means to be Chinese, what it means to be pressured into certain career paths, or pressured into marrying the right person, or pressured in various ways. And today I woke up to, what a fascinating discussion would it be to frame aspects of the Chinese culture as the same as an Orthodox religion, where the rules are there, the shame is there, the secrecy is there, inside, outside, the threat of abandonment, the threat of withdrawal of financial support and shunning of the tribe, loss of your identity, homelessness. All of these things are there, keeping you under the rules. It's very fear-based and very right and wrong based. And I really say that from the clarity of truth, not judgment. Because this is a culture that for thousands of years has had authoritarian rule, and there's some consciousness in there that's created that, and there's a lot of underlying beliefs that support that. By, oh, it's such a competitive society, there's poverty, there's, that somehow we required that in order to survive. And that's so far down into the psyche. And now is the time, because now we have unprecedented monetary wealth in that country, in that region of the world, and the consciousness of orthodoxy and right and wrong, and all of these things that I just described about religious orthodoxy that's within the culture and is being expressed through the government right now. Most people are complying out of fear, and there are a few voices, that are finding their way out from within and speaking out against it. And yet the balance, the voice is really, how do we send a message that speaks to the people who are woken up to the truth of their own sovereignty, their own free will, their own choice, and their own power to participate. And of course, just like the Mormon Church, who excommunicated John Dehlin just a few weeks ago because he publicly supports same-sex marriage and denounces the claim that the Book of Mormon and Book of Abraham are actual scientific documents, and has publicly stated these beliefs and is mobilizing people to question the Mormon Church. Those are sort of the three reasons that were given for his excommunication. So, what's to be expected from the upholders of the current order in the Chinese system, the government of China, as well as all of its branches that live as genetic lineage around the world, who have continued to believe at some level, unexamined, in that belief system? What's to be expected when a threat actually grows to critical mass, meaning a collection of stories and a community of strength is built, will be some attempt by the establishment to crush it, like Tiananmen Square. I mean, it's like, yeah, just like drive a tank at some kid. Wow, So that's the level of courage that's being asked and required for the heart of humanity. And I am just right now feeling, at the same time I'm feeling the excitement and enthusiasm of, this is something I'm positioned to do from my heart. It's a way to partner with people in a way that, through a business, my coaching business, I have not found a way to truly partner in a way that speaks to my heart. Because affiliate partnerships and like co-promotion and all that, it's like, yeah, whatever. Not exciting, because it's still based on whatever kind of personal brand building. But this true gift to a community. It's truly planting trees, planting seeds. Who is the community garden? Or a park, an open space preserve. And being able to have conversations with a wide range of people around difficult issues that require us to go deep and to tap into courage not previously tapped into before, and through that to inspire others, is very exciting. So I'm feeling the excitement, and I'm feeling also that feeling of withdrawal, fear, anger, blame, and the repercussions and the threat of attack at the same time. And it's something that I'm sure John Dehlin, founder of this Mormon Stories, talking about gay Mormons and everything that's basically strictly forbidden by the church, he's bringing to the surface and giving people a chance to talk about in their real life. Suicide is another one. And I'm sure he feels that every day. I mean, the fact that he was only excommunicated and not given death threats shows that he actually has a level of support and recognition in the community. So, at the same time I'm reading this, I'm writing my first kind of little statement about the parallels between a culture and Orthodox religion, I opened my email for the first time today and I see a note from a friend of mine in Silicon Valley whose brother-in-law and nephew died. 17-year-old nephew attempting suicide. His father went in to try to rescue him. They both died. It was a gas inhalation. And there's a lot of discussion from what I'm feeling in the Palo Alto area about the recent suicides. And he sent me a note sharing with me that there's a parent meeting in a few days just to discuss what is required to support the Asian American community in this time of crisis. And it was as if, to me, I received that as a big yes. Like, oh, great. Because I've been really playing with, okay, how can I just not do anything? Just stop this frenetic, compulsive need to create work for myself. And how can I just be with what I really feel, where my heart is calling me? Not just what I love, but what I'm avoiding, and what I do to escape feeling what's really alive for me. And it's a lot of fire energy around this whole mix and this constellation that's somehow, it's like it's rotating into focus for me and showing me what my particular lens is on this constellation of issues, which involves vulnerability, fear, belief systems, heart, belief, suicide, why there's an obsession with becoming a doctor and going to Harvard in the Chinese culture. Not just laughing at that, but let's just talk about the true impact of that. Let's stop laughing at it, because it's funny to people who are not involved in that. It's funny when it's over there. It's not funny when it's in you, happening through you. And I can speak to that. And the whole music thing, the violin thing, the perfection thing, the complex versus simple thing, the classical versus improv thing, the success versus failure thing. This is all coming to some sort of confluence for me to speak from, and I know it. And I know that I've also been in a lot of activity based on a belief I need to make all this happen. I need to prove it. I need to da-da-da. And none of it's wrong, and I'm experimenting with what comes to me. So the fact that this thing is already set up, it's happening, I just show up, is awesome. And I have no idea what's going to happen there, but all I know is I will be there. I will show up and be present, and I will be fully engaged, committed, listening. And I will bring everything that I am in this moment to that interaction. Meanwhile, also next week, I'm headed to an amazing gathering of people, the board for the Center for Integral Wisdom, just luminaries and not so public figures doing integrative work on this planet. Very much my tribe that I didn't have the words to call together, but they found me, again, from just showing up. So that's what I'm living with. And it's terrifying isn't the right word, but it's really calling upon deep reserves of forgotten fears that I just put down and said, oh, I don't want to feel that anymore, so I'll just do this safe thing over here. I won't talk about that because that might make people think this about me, or, why stir that pot? Those kinds of things that I just put away but was very aware of are now coming to the surface, and I'm able to be with them in a new way. Still not pleasant all the time, but I'm more equipped to love and stay and feel more. And for that, I'm very grateful.